This podcast is intended for adults 18 years and older. It contains explicit language and sexual situations. All thoughts and opinions expressed are of our own and not of those of any specific group, employer, or individual, and is not intended to take as professional advice.
Welcome to the Foreplay Podcast. Join the journey, experiences, and sexual adventures of two high school sweethearts navigating through the swinging lifestyle as millennials. Come along for the ride. Dare to play?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Foreplay Podcast. This is Bella.
This is Jase.
Today's episode is a frequently asked questions about things in the lifestyle. That's not necessarily, I guess they're more frequently asked that's not addressed as often, I guess
would
you
just
could
say
say.
it's more things that people ask us really often, which I feel like is a little bit different than just generalized questions. These are more things that we just feel like we see these questions specifically emailed to us or in comments or however very often.
And I think it's because it's not as addressed. You can't find the answers as openly because a lot of these a lot of the questions are more lived in basis, if that makes sense, I guess. So the first question is about having periods and do people still play when they're on their periods, and just the overall general consensus about being a swinger and being on your period, and can you play when you're on your period. And all of these answers that we're going to give, it's going to depend per person. Like, we can't tell you this is what you should be doing. You know, like, you have to end up making a decision for yourself if this is something you want to do. Do you want, if you are on your period and you want to play, I mean, it's up to you if you want to do that, right? So I can't tell you that, hey, this is what you should be doing, but what we can give our 2 cents on is what we have experienced in our journey in the lifestyle and what we've kind of collected as like our lived experience, right? So take everything we're saying here with a grain of salt, do your own research, make your own decisions, but maybe this will open up some conversations for you and your partner and your lifestyle journey. Okay, so you can play on your period, and this goes not even just like lifestyle, right? This is just sex in general. You can have sex when you're on your period. A lot of the times, menstrual dicks.
Menstrual dicks?
Menstrual
That's the name for a period play? Menstrual dicks? You're getting the menstrual dicks?
There isn't, as from what we've seen, right? It's not like period blood play. So when people are on their periods, usually there'll be a menstrual disc used. That's what I do. I have played on my period before, and I just make sure that I empty my disc out beforehand, right before I'm about to go play, so it's not full. I will say I do think that it is good to let the person know that, hey, I am on my period. There might be some blood. Is that okay? If there is, I haven't come across somebody where that's been an issue before, but I think that it's valid if the other person doesn't feel comfortable playing when someone's on their period as well. I mean, I think that also is valid. So now, I don't think you have to tell somebody that you're on your period. If you're wearing a menstrual disc and you're used to having sex on a menstrual disc and it's not something that you feel like takes away from the experience, for example, Jase and I, whenever we have sex and I have a menstrual disc, and there's a lot of times where he doesn't even know.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I feel like I need to announce it because I'm used to wearing it and I'm used to having sex with a menstrual disc. So with that said, I think you just need to do what you feel comfortable doing. For me personally, I wouldn't want to be eaten out when I'm on my period, even with a menstrual disc in, but that's for me. So, I mean, if I was going to, I would tell somebody. I'd be like, hey, I do have a menstrual disc in, and if I wanted them to eat me out, or if they wanted to eat me out, I would personally want to let them know. So that's where it is with that. You can use disposable menstrual discs. You can use reusable ones. Some people will just bring extra menstrual discs that are disposable that they can give to somebody else if they want to, but it's not this like huge taboo thing that people are tiptoeing around. I don't think it's in our experience it hasn't ever been anything like of importance of it being like, hey, this is an issue. Like it's very normal and very normalized.
Yeah. And so I don't really have much to add to that because I mean I feel like that's more a question on your side. But I guess because I'm sure we will get the question, I like you said earlier, I know for me, I've never noticed a difference. I've played with other girls. Like to me, I don't really feel any difference. The only thing is if you finger somebody, you will notice a difference if you finger
Yes.
someone wearing a menstrual disc. But I mean, I think it's awesome. Because I feel like before you found out my menstrual disc, whenever you were on your period, we like never really had sex on your period because you
Yeah,
just.
yeah.
But I feel like it's like allowed you to feel sexier on your period, which also, I mean, I like having sex with you. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just the way that you said that. I think it's awesome.
So the next question is about protection. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this one. Sometimes I'm a little alarmed at the questions we get about protection, specifically this question, which I'm going to state right now. If you are wearing a condom and you're fucking one partner and you switch to the other partner, do you have to switch condoms?
We've gotten that question a
A
lot of times.
lot of times, and it's a little alarming to me. Just the
It's like the practice of safe sex.
Yeah.
So
something's missing there. Like if you don't realize that if you're switching between partners, it is not considered safe sex anymore if you're not switching the condom. So yes,
I guess technically it's safe for you.
Yeah, but
it's
not safe for
the
everyone
other
involved.
People. Yeah. So that just make sure that you are doing the research on how to have safe sex.
if that's a question.
Yeah.
Obviously, we just got the question a lot of times, and we've never talked about it because I always feel like it kind of goes without being said, but clearly it's been asked so many times, people have questions about it. So if you are switching partners, switch condoms.
Yes.
That's safe sex.
Yes.
That is what we promote.
Another question we get asked a lot is about protection and oral sex. And with sex in general, there is a risk tolerance. So being in the lifestyle, there is what you feel comfortable doing and the risk tolerance that you feel okay with that. So there are people who are asking, well, what about kissing? What about this? And what about any time that you are going to be exchanging any kind of, I guess, like, not fluids, but like if you're making out, you're exchanging fluids, right? Yeah, there is going to be a chance that you could get herpes. If you know, there is a risk tolerance that you're taking. And so if this is something that you are worried about, then being in the lifestyle or being in a more, I guess, sexually open space, even when it's with a community that puts sexual health and protection and all of those things, and people who are educated and go about it in a smart way, there's still always going to be risk. It's just like if you're getting in a car and you put your seatbelt on to mitigate that risk, but there's still a risk of getting in a car. There's a risk in anything that you do. So I think a lot of times people are getting in their heads about like all of these things when it really comes down to what is your risk tolerance and how are you mitigating that risk.
With that said, from our personal experience, using protection with oral is not the most common or standard when it comes to oral sex. Just like I would say that using protection is the default, I would say almost every single couple in the lifestyle uses protection with penetration sex. I would say that from our experience, once again, most of the time we have not seen oral and protection used. Once again, it's like Bella said, it's all about your risk and your risk tolerance. If you want to use protection, if you want to use condoms, dental dams, whatever it is, whenever you are doing oral, great. And that is wonderful and that is your journey. But we get the question a lot of like, do most people use protection when it comes to oral? And I would just say from our experience, generally, we don't see protection with oral. But once again, people get tested regularly. You're having an open, honest communications. You are protecting yourselves in other ways. And so for us, that's why we feel okay with that decision. But that is what we typically see.
So for us, that is a risk that we're okay taking because we are lowering the chances of STI spread or getting STIs by mitigating in other ways, by using, by getting tested regularly. And the clinic that we go to, we get the swabs tested as well. And so that's like whenever you're using like you do it on your uvula, so you're doing the oral testing and it's not just the blood testing. So that's what we have found to be the most typical in the lifestyle. The next question is also about testing and safety and if it is mandated or required to be tested to board a lifestyle cruise or go to a lifestyle resort or any of those things, or like even to go into a club. And that answer is no. It is always a personal responsibility to be tested, get tested, and have those open conversations with the people that you might be having sexual encounters with. So you have to think in the way that not everybody who goes on a lifestyle cruise or goes to even a club or any of these things, not everybody is having sex with other people. It wouldn't be appropriate to require and mandate something like that. It basically makes it to where you are assuming that everybody there is going to have sex, and that isn't the case. To me, I think that it would be the same rhetoric of any place that has a lot of sex happen. So for example, like college campuses or like fraternities, sororities, those kinds of things, requiring people to be tested in order to go to an event or do something. And that's not something that people ask about. It's not something that people question. So whenever we do get this question, I always want to open it up in that conversation of, well, if you think about it, if you are asking about it for this community, do you also wonder that about other communities that have higher rates of STIs and higher spread? So even retirement homes, those things, people aren't questioning that. But because there is a stigma with people who are in lifestyle spaces or sexually open spaces, kink spaces, people tie this stigma of higher STIs. So they're like, well, you should be tested before you go, when it is always a personal responsibility for other communities, right? So it shouldn't ever be up to a higher authority to make sure that you have to be tested to go do this thing, because there's lots of couples who go and they don't have any, like, they don't swap at all with anybody, and they're monogamous and they only have sex with each other. So why would they need to have to show that? So it always should be a personal responsibility. So the answer is no, you don't have to be tested. You don't have to show test results. However, the people who are in this community are very on top of sexual health, being safe, being open and talking about test results. So it is the norm to use protection and be safe. So that personal responsibility is taken seriously and is the basis. It's like the norm. It's the common denominator in the space. Like everybody knows that you are doing those things and you are able to openly talk about it and then make sure. And then kind of what we talked earlier, it's risk tolerance, right? So if you are taking all of these steps to mitigate that risk and then you're choosing, hey, I do want to proceed to have a sexual encounter with this person, that should be on the people who are consenting in that space. It shouldn't be up to somebody else to decide what is and isn't okay for what consenting adults want to be doing sexually. So there, I'm gonna get off my soapbox now.
Well, it's kind of related. The next question we often get asked is, if we don't play with others, will we still enjoy lifestyle vacations? Which kind of goes back to part of what we were talking about. And yes, there is lifestyle vacations can be fun for anyone. You don't have to be non-monogamous to enjoy them. Now, I will say they are definitely built for more people who like to be in spicy environments and like to be in that open sexual environment in general. But you don't need to play. You can go and you can make connections, you can make friends, and so you don't have to play to do those things. The lifestyle is so cool because people respect what you are. So if you are a full swap couple or a soft swap couple or you're a voyeur couple, whatever it is, people are going to respect that. And if you say, someone might approach you and say they're interested, and if you say no, we're not interested, this is our dynamic, they're going to say, oh, awesome, we can still be friends, we can still hang out, you can still have those connections, you can still have an amazing time on a trip. They have amazing spicy shows, it's fun to go dance, you can go with your own partner to the playrooms. Like, there's lots of really awesome things that these cruises and these vacations provide that are not swapping with other people. And they also have a lot of seminars and stuff that are really great for if you are a couple who maybe you haven't had any experiences, but you want to. Lots of classes and ways to learn about the lifestyle and about those experiences, but also just a lot of awesome classes on sexual things in general that you and your partner can take and put into your own sexual life. And so you definitely do not need to be in the lifestyle or swap to enjoy a lifestyle vacation, but it's definitely best for people who are open-minded to being in that sexual atmosphere and kind of like that overall vibe.
And I will say, there are a lot of people who are there who do swap. And so I think that it's important to also know that you have to also respect other people who are there for a different reason than you as well. So while there's some people who don't really want anything to do with any kind of swapping, there's also a population of people who are into that. So if you're talking to a couple and then the couple kind of ends up not, like, if you guys end up not being on the same page, I don't want you to get into this idea that, oh, well, this couple is still, like, we're going to become like the best of friends, because there's a chance that that's not going to happen because you guys aren't aligned with that, so keep that in mind as well. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
It does. I think that you're still going to be able to talk to everyone, still be friends with everybody. You might just not connect on all the same things, right? So, like, you have a different connection with people that you swap with or that you're interested in. Like, there's different flirting and there's different chemistry and different things going on in those environments. And what I was going for, kind of what I was saying, that is, like, people are going to be friendly and welcoming and nice. And even if you guys are not in the lifestyle, it's not like people are going to be like, oh, I don't want to be talked to those people, I don't want to be friends with those people, because they don't swap. Like, I just think you're going to have different levels of connections and friendships, and that might change based off your preferences and those things. But the community is just very welcoming and nice to be around in general.
And with that, I think a lot of people who aren't in the community, who haven't like had the experience of being inside the community, think that it's literally always about sex. And people are not, even people who do swap, full swap, like us, like we've been in the lifestyle for over 10 years now. How much % of the time are we actually playing with people? It's like such a small, tiny amount of time and percentage compared to the actual time that we've been in it, Or when you're on, even if you go to a club, like even if it's one night and you go to a club, you are with your partner a majority of that time. And you might be talking to some other couples, you might be having conversations, but then the actual play part, doesn't take up a majority of the time. So that goes with vacations and everything, and just like being in the lifestyle. It's not, the sex part is such a small part of it that I think people confuse that and flip it. Thinking that like
I think
people
that
are
makes sense.
always just having sex and it's only about talking to people to have sex. And that's not what it is at all.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Yeah, it
but
is
it's
part of it.
definitely not the whole picture there.
And it's not the basis. And a majority of the time you are with your own partner. Like, yes, we're in a non-monogamous space, but a lot of the times we're doing monogamous things. So,
Yeah.
anyways, what's the next question?
Next question is, will we be able to fit in if we don't look a certain way? Or will be welcome if we don't have a certain look? Yes. The lifestyle is, we always describe it as, it's like the airport minus the kids. You are going to see all different sorts of body types, all different ages, that adult ages, all different ethnicities, all different personality types. Like, there is such a wide variety of people in this lifestyle, and that's what's so amazing about it. It's like you get to see so many different people. I do feel like if you see advertisements and stuff like that, it's generally just models and really great looking people. And while yes, there is a lot of wonderful, amazing looking, stereotypical model type people in the lifestyle, there is all sorts of people in the lifestyle. And so you're going to be able to make friends and have experiences and have fun regardless of those types of things. We also talk about a lot that so much of the lifestyle, it's more than just looks, right? You have personality and you have your connections and you have confidence and all these different things that also play factors into connecting with other people. And so it's a very open and welcoming space. And you really do see all sorts of different people from different walks of life doing different things, all enjoying the space together.
And with that, I also do want people to have the realistic expectation of, it depends on, I guess, where you're going to, right? So if this one club is in this one city, it's probably, even though it is a vast variety of like different body types and things, it still might be the demographic of that city. And so I don't want people to have the idea of, wow, it's like every single walk of life is here in this space, that it's so open. It's not quite like that, because even if you're going on a vacation, right, if you go to a resort, like there's going to be a certain, like a demographic, a majority demographic will fit this one thing. But when it comes to like body types, which I think that is more what people are worried about, I think people are worried that they don't look perfect, they don't have this hard body with abs and looks like the stereotypical model, that they're going to feel out of place. And that's what we want people to realize, that it's not like that. And a majority of people don't look like that. It looks like normal people.
I also do, I guess I'll clarify here too, that it's also going to vary with what parts of the world you're in. Mm-hmm. When we have been in Europe, for example, at the few places we've been in the lifestyle, I feel like the body type was more similar. There was a lot more people who were very fit and things like that. Like, it was more typical not to see as wide of a variety of body types whenever we were over there. So I think this is also going to be dependent on where you are in the world. And we don't know what the lifestyle is like in a lot of places in the world, but keep that in mind. But as a general rule, what we were saying, at least in the US and lifestyle vacation, the places like that, these answers are generalized for that.
This podcast is brought to you by us, Bella and Jase. If you're going on a vacation, or maybe you have a gift that you want to give your other lifestyle friends and you're looking for lifestyle clothing, we have the best apparel on the market for you. We have not only clothing, bikinis, swimsuits, we have backpacks, tumblers, cups, anything that you can name, we probably have it. You can find that at foreplay.com/shop.
Let's say you're at a party, you're going on vacation, things are moving a little bit slow. Maybe you want some conversation to flow. Maybe you want to move stuff towards play. Well, we have the perfect game for you. It's called Foreplay the Game. It is a digital and physical lifestyle icebreaker game, and you can find out all about it at foreplay.com/games. That's number 4, OURPLAY.com/games.
If you don't have a lifestyle vacation planned, a resort or a cruise planned, why not? You can join us. You can find that at foreplay.com/ Playcation. We have not only information about the events and trips that will be on this year, but also other options for you as well. And it doesn't cost any extra for you to book through our links, but helps us a lot, helps us continue to be able to make this type of content for you. Now back to the show.
Next question, where do we find clubs or apps or what's popular around us? So if you go to our website, you go to fourplay.com, the number 4URPLAY.com/newbie-guide. You can download a newbie guide, and in there it has where you can actually sign up for free trial memberships of all the different websites, but we have a list of clubs per state, as well as a list of apps that are popular in your location. So specifically with lifestyle apps, while yes, they are broad and they go throughout the United States and sometimes all over the world, there is generally regional ones that are more popular in regions. And if you download that newbie guide, that's probably the easiest way just to find out what's most popular in your area and kind of have everything in one spot. All right, what if I'm shy?
If you're shy, you can still be in the lifestyle. I think, again, you would just have to have the expectation, like the realistic expectation that if people are in general, people are nice. But if you are expecting everybody to come up to you and you're not going to put out that effort, you're probably not going to make as many connections as you think or as you want to, right? So the lifestyle is what you make of it. Life is what you make of it. So yes, you can be shy. There's no problem at all. There's lots of people who are more reserved, and that's completely okay. You're still welcome. Just know that you cannot expect to sit by yourselves being shy and use that as a crutch for saying, oh, well, I'm not making any connections because nobody's coming to talk to me. Because you have to think that if you are shy and you are more reserved and you are more sticking to yourselves, it's from an outsider's perspective too. And I say this because we've been there. Jase and I have been there. We have been this couple wanting to just kind of stick to ourselves, and we're too nervous to talk to people. People are going to see you as unapproachable. And maybe it's not unapproachable in the way that's like, oh, they're stuck up. It could be unapproachable in a way that's, hey, they look really new and they look really nervous, so maybe they don't want other people to go talk to them. So there's lots of different avenues and aspects that can go or come off as. But you definitely can be shy. It's okay. You can, if that's your personality, and you're not, you don't have to have a loud personality to be in the lifestyle. Like we said, even when it comes to the different demographics and just the different body types, there's also tons more personalities in it too. We would just recommend that if you are wanting to make the best out of it, the best out of the lifestyle is to try to go out of your shell a little bit.
And that takes time.
Yeah.
That takes practice. So we were both more shy, reserved people. And so it takes time. And we'd also recommend that if you are shy, there's things you can do to play to strengths, right? And so maybe going and approaching people is not the easiest thing for you. So if you're local, maybe use an app. Maybe try to talk to people online. Maybe that not meeting someone face to face the first time is a little bit easier. Then meet people once you kind of already have some of those walls broken down. If you're on a vacation, go to the meetups, go to the meet and greets, go to the speed dating, go to those things where you're put in a place where everyone is trying to meet people. And so then it's not like you see someone across the dance floor, you want to say hi, but you don't know how, put yourself in situations where conversations are intended to happen. Which, I mean, yes, anyone on a lifestyle cruise or whatever, conversations are intended to happen. But at a meet and greet, you're sitting there with the intention of talking to people. And once you make a couple friends, if you kind of have that little group, they'll introduce you to more people. And then with time, if you keep practicing getting out of your shell a little bit, it gets easier and easier. But definitely play to, I said, your strengths and go to the things that encourage talking, encourage those friendships to be built over just Bella said, sitting in the corner, and those are the situations that are hard for even outgoing people sometimes. So that's something else we'd recommend if you're shy. This question we get probably the most almost out of anything. And it's one of those things which I think it's pretty in depth, and that is, how do I bring up swinging to my partner? We have full videos and podcasts about this topic specifically that we will link below. So if you want a really in-depth answer, I would recommend watching or listening to one of those things just so we really, really go in depth. But there's several, I guess, different ways to go about it. One of the best ways that we have found is there is a site. It's called Mojo Upgrade. We can also link that. But essentially, it is a quiz that you take, and it shows different. You and your partner take it separately, and it asks about different kinks and different things like that, about lifestyle, about swinging, and then it compares those answers and it gives you a place to start having a conversation about it.
From there, and it doesn't only talk about non-monogamy, but it has lots of different kinks and lots of different sexual preferences that will match up with the other person who's taking the quiz, and it does it by percentages, I believe. So it shows you what the other person can or may be interested in, and that's going to open that avenue for more communication and like having more open conversations about it. That's how we think would be the easiest kind of way to gauge what you're both into generally, like in general, like not even when it just comes to swinging lifestyle or non-monogamy. And we want to emphasize that you can't convince your partner into doing something like this. Like that's a question that we get asked a lot too, is like how do I convince my partner to do this? And that in itself is a red flag. Like you have to reframe of how you're thinking about that. You can't convince somebody to do something that they don't even know if they would be interested in doing or interested in even thinking about at all. Swinging is something that you do together. It's not something that like one person wants to do. It's not going to turn out well if you go about it in that sense.
And the other thing is when you start having those conversations and do that quiz or whatever, you need to also just create a safe, open place for you guys to talk and to communicate. And that's something that I feel like we've noticed that's really great about couples in the lifestyle, that we feel like we see at least portrayed in movies and things like that in vanilla world, is not having a relationship where you feel like you can talk and be open and honest with each other. And working on creating that safe environment where you guys can talk about your desires or fantasies, but know you're doing it in places where you're having those open, honest, safe communication. I think that's a really large part of it too, is just creating that environment. So that's something else besides just, taking the quiz and starting those conversations, but starting those conversations in a safe place.
Another way is to start introducing, let's just say your partner seems a little interested, but then you guys don't really know where to go from there. A lot of the times having hearing someone else's experiences that it's worked out for them and kind of talking about their downfalls and their highlights will help make it feel more like approachable. And so we've had lots of emails and messages and stuff saying that just by consuming content of a couple who has been successful and has a healthy relationship together and in the lifestyle helps them as a couple see how they can navigate this. So that's another thing too, is find other creators where you guys can maybe watch the content together or listen to the podcast together and then have a conversation about it afterwards and talk about it. Because I think having an example of lived experience makes it a lot easier to get into.
Another question that is one I think that is kind of hard to do a ton of is, what kind of rules and boundaries should we have? So rules and boundaries in lifestyle are super important, and they're things that evolve and change. And once again, just like the last question, if you guys want a super in-depth answer to this, we have a rules and boundaries video. We'll link that down below if you guys want to know like all of the most common rules and boundaries, but we'll go over a few of the most common rules and boundaries. I feel like the biggest ones you're going to see is protection. Using protection, you are going to see same room. I feel like that is one of the most common ones that you're going to see. And then after that, I feel like it's really start to vary a lot. You have couples that don't kiss, or you have people like me and Bella who don't take pictures and videos during experiences.
So it's just going to depend on what you and your partner feel comfortable with. I think people are so worried about having this, I guess, like these like specific rules and boundaries that everybody else has, but it's very customized to what you and your partner in your relationship is. So it's difficult for us to be like, hey, this is what you need to have as your rules and boundaries, because it changes and it's different for everybody. And if you're worried about your boundary being an issue for other people, then I think that's a problem that you guys might need to continue talking about. Like, something that is a boundary for you shouldn't involve other people, because it's a boundary for yourself. So the people that you involve yourself with should be respecting that boundary, but it shouldn't sway on what boundaries you are creating for yourself and for your relationship.
Yeah, and know that rules and boundaries can change with time, and that's totally okay. And if you kind of want, if you're saying, but like, how do we know? How do we even get some sort of idea of where to start with a rule and boundary? The best thing to do is to talk about fantasies. Talk about, hey, if we were to do this, would that sound sexy to you? Does that sound like, play out those hypotheticals? And you're not going to know at the beginning exactly what's going to work the best for you. But playing out hypotheticals, at least when you do that, you can kind of get ideas. And then once you go in your approach with those situations, that's when you can kind of change those rules and boundaries and figure out what works best for you. And then the last question we have is, what if we don't want to swap right now, but maybe we want to swap later? That is, it kind of goes along with like the rules and boundaries and everything else. You're allowed to choose that. You're allowed to take time in your lifestyle journey. You don't have to rush. You don't have to go to full swap. You don't ever have to get a full swap. It's not like there's some end goal in the lifestyle. It's about enjoying the lifestyle together and doing things together with you and your partner, and connecting and growing and enjoying your time together. And all those other things are sprinkles on top of the cake. And so if you don't want to swap right now, that's totally okay. You can still go on, like we said earlier, you can go on a lifestyle vacation. You can still go to the club. You can be in that spicy environment. You can still watch and learn together. And maybe with time, swapping is something that sounds fun. Or maybe you have that experience and you really enjoy it and you continue on your lifestyle journey in different ways. But you never have to. But you can still enjoy the environment even before you're part of the lifestyle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you don't want to rush into anything that you aren't ready for. And I guess with that, we can kind of touch a little bit of, again, this goes for really any life experience. You are going to think, and you're going to do all of this research, and you're going to try to prepare yourself for every case scenario. And life just doesn't always work out the way that you think it's going to. And that's something that I think it's important to have a realistic grasp on. That you might think you might think you might be okay with something, and then something happens, you're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if X, Y, and Z. And that could be what it's like with swapping. I think it's like the biggest scare that people have is like, what if we go into this and then I don't like it? And that you have to realize that is a possibility. But if you're at least talking about it and you're at least coming up with these hypotheticals and thinking that maybe I do like this, that it will make your experience, I don't know, it will make it, I just don't want people to have these expectations that everything goes perfectly all the time, and that you could try something and you might realize that you might not like it, and that's okay. And the takeaway is that you and your partner have a way to navigate that as well, and regulate your nervous system, and being able to figure out ways to talk about things and work on things together. And that will look different for every couple.
And that is the kind of thing that it's still like after you have a full swap, right? If you've had a full swap, you might have an experience and you thought this one thing was okay. Then afterwards you're like, hey, I didn't like that, right? It's not even just like the idea of swapping. It's anything.
Yeah.
That can happen. But like Bella said, it's about knowing how to communicate those things, talk about those things, and then figure out the root issue of why you didn't like this, or why this bothered you, or why this was hard, or why. Because lots of time in the lifestyle, you notice a lot of our issues came from not fully understanding, not communicating well enough, and not having a full understanding of something, and then thinking something different. And so it's also about communicating that, like I said, learning what works best for you, like she said, but figuring out what you need to do to adjust. Because lots of the time with these things, whenever you have some sort of issue, if you are able to work through that issue, you become a stronger and a better couple for it. You grow yourself as individuals, and you also grow together as a couple. And with time, it's like I always view sometimes, well, I guess not always, but in life, we're going to have tough things as a couple. That's whether you're monogamous or you're non-monogamous. But whenever you're able to get to the root of those issues and work through it and become a better grouping together because of those things, that's also where I feel like you become the strongest. And so learning how to work through those things is, like Bella said, super important. And yeah, just something to always work on. Is always going to look different for everybody.
And not to say that you are always going to have issues. I don't want it to come off that way, because most of the time everything is very amazing and happy and everything is going great. It just sometimes bad things do happen, or sometimes miscommunications or misunderstandings. It's usually more a misunderstanding than a miscommunication. I think that we could probably talk about that on like a different episode, kind of go into communication advice that's helped us through our difficult times and how we've gone through and like moved past it. But it's definitely a bigger conversation than what we touched on here. What was the original question? What if we don't want to swap now, but maybe want to later? Oh yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah, you can do that.
That's allowed.
No problem.
Next question. But there is the questions. Those are the ones that we feel like we get asked the most common. And so, hopefully that was able to give you something to talk about. Or maybe you've asked us one of those questions before, and here's the answer. But we really appreciate you guys listening to that. And we'll go ahead and jump into Bella and Jase's Weekly Obsessions. Why don't you go first?
Let's see. My weekly
After
obsessions.
you, Princess.
What have my weekly obsessions been this week?
Why do you let them
My
know?
points?
Why do you let them know, Princess?
What do I want to know?
Why do you let them know?
Oh, why don't I let them know?
Okay, I'm done with that.
Okay.
What are your weekly obsessions?
My first obsession is a musician. Her name is Audrey Hobart. Audrey Hobart. And if you like Gracie Abrams, role model, you will most likely like Lizzie McAlpine. You will most likely enjoy Audrey Hobart's music. It's just awesome. It's very folky but poppy at the same time, and it makes me just happy to listen to. She makes really awesome music, so highly recommend. And my other obsession is Tell Me Lies. The TV show on Hulu came back for its 3rd season recently, and I was getting kind of bored with the show. But I don't know if it's because okay, so backtracking with Tell Me Lies, I was obsessed. I think I've talked about it on the podcast too. I was obsessed with the first 2 seasons, binged it, so obsessed to the point where I was like, Jase, you have to watch this. I need somebody to talk about this too. And so I told him, I went through and I told him the entire storyline. Okay, I was like, I don't know if he's ever gonna watch it, but I'm gonna tell him everything. I even like showed him pictures, and it was like not a crime scene, but like whenever you put up pictures of all the different people, and there's
like the web
the web of everything, and I was telling him all of the things, and I told him every single plot point and everything that happened, and I was like, will you please just watch it with me? And so he watched both seasons literally already knowing what happened. I forgot even what happened, but he remembered what happened from just me telling him. So I think because of that, when I rewatched it the second time, I got kind of tired of it and kind of bored of it, and so did he. But I'm wondering if it's because he already knew everything that was happening, as did I. But the first time I watched it, I did not have that issue. So that's what this 3rd season is doing for both of us right now, because I haven't seen it yet, obviously. So all of the juicy things that are happening I'm experiencing in real time. So I'm back to being obsessed with it, and it is so good. I think that second season was okay. I see it's hard. I feel like it's a biased now because I can't remember.
Even after you explaining it, I saw like the first season more than the second season.
Yeah.
But the third season I feel like has been actually probably my favorite so far. Yeah, I've really been enjoying the third season. I look forward to watching it every week.
And we found out that a lot of the couples on the show were actually couples in real life. So Steven and Lucy, who are the most toxic couple, Steven might actually be the worst character I've ever read about. I mean, okay, there's like other worse people who are like gonna like murder and kill hundreds of thousands people and populations and things like that. But like when it comes, I hated Professor Umbridge. He might be worse than Professor Umbridge.
He's awful.
He's literally horrendous. Anyways, so the real person who plays his character and the real person who plays Lucy, they are actually dating in real life, and they couldn't be more opposite from their characters that they play, and I think that's really awesome. And then there's like 2 or 3 other couples who are also dating in real life.
Yeah.
Fun.
So I have 2. One, I know that this is also yours. It is Shrinking. Shrinking season 3 came back recently also, and Shrinking is a show about these therapists and life. And it's the same people who made Ted Lasso. So it's this show that's very uplifting and funny, but it's also serious and has incredible character development and talks about real issues and has sadness and ups and downs, and it feels like life. Like it feels like that thing of life where you feel the highs and the lows, and it's one of the most beautiful, wonderful, funny, incredible shows. And the first episode of season 3 came out as of the time of recording this, and it was amazing. It was an incredible episode. It was like a 9.5 episode. Like it's so good. I don't even know what else to say about it. Like I love Shrinking.
That too is Shrinking is my favorite TV show of all time. And like I said, I'm very, very, wait, did I say it in this podcast? Maybe it was a different podcast. I think it was the one that we just recorded before this. But I'm so picky in particular when it comes to giving out perfect scores when it comes to media. And this is like a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 show for me. I think that it's perfect. And I love it so much. And I'm going to cry thinking about it.
It's so good.
Incredible.
And then my other one are baby tees. And so, how do you describe a baby tee? It's like a small shirt. Right?
It's like a cropped top, a cropped shirt. It's like a slim fitting shirt that has like the sleeves are a little bit more capped.
It's almost like kind of an angle type.
Yeah, it's not like a unisex fitting shirt. It's just tighter fitting, and if you just Google baby tee, you'll see it's like a crop top, but a little bit longer than a crop top.
Yeah,
but it would be a crop top for a guy, I guess.
So, I've had like a couple like smaller shirts like this in general, but we were at Old Navy and we were walking through, and I passed the juniors section, and they had.
It's not, I don't think it's the junior section. I think it's the kids section, because it was like a girl's
like 3X or 2X.
It was like
or
a
something.
girl's size 14, 16. So that's not because juniors would be like when you're talking about jean sizes, it'd be like 25, 26, 27. So I think you were in like the girl section.
Essentially, they had this Olivia Rodrigo shirt, and I bought like the biggest size in the kids or whatever, and it's just this baby tee. It's very tight, it's small, and I like how it looks. I like how it fits.
So good on you.
And then yesterday I was at the thrift store, and I found a Dua Lipa one for $1.50 at the thrift store, and it fits just like it too. And I don't know what size it is. It said it's a medium, but I don't know what kind of medium that is. I don't know what age medium that would be, because it's just a very tight-fitting shirt, and I've been enjoying wearing them. I only have a couple of them, but I really like them.
You look so good at it. That's my obsession too in general.
Thank you.
I wouldn't say it's like my weekly obsession. I just always love when guys wear baggier, bigger pants with a baby tee top. Ugh, it's so good, so good. Think Harry Styles, think role model, think Dylan Minnette. Oh my gosh. Benson Boone, he does that a lot. Jacob Elordi. No, Jacob Elordi, he's probably too big to wear a baby tee.
Yeah.
But he does wear crop tees, crop shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so good. You have such good style. I love it so
too.
much.
I appreciate that. But yeah, those are obsessions. That was some frequently asked questions. But thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. And we'll go ahead and hit you guys for the outro. Bye.
If you'd like to support the show, you can leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to our podcast. All our information will be listed in the show notes below and on our website, fourplay.com. That's number 4, OURPLAY.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we make videos and vlogs about the swinging lifestyle. Head to fourplay.com/YouTube to watch and subscribe. We have the ultimate adult party game for the sexually inclined called Foreplay the Game that's both digital and physical. It's perfect for breaking the ice and spicing up any party. You can find more information at foreplay.com/games. We also have the best swinger lifestyle, kinky, and adult humor clothing and accessories that you can find at foreplay.com/shop. If you're looking to plan a lifestyle destination, booking through our links at foreplay.com/travel really helps support the show and helps us be able to continue to create this type of content for you. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and more. You can find all our current social media accounts at foreplay.com/socials, and I have an OnlyFans which you can find at onlyfans.com/BellaLunaVIP. We also have a Facebook group and Discord community and would love for you to join us. You can find the direct links in the show notes below. Lastly, we're on STC and Cassidy at Foreplay, and you can get a free full membership trial by using our link. You can email us at hello@foreplay.com with any questions or comments, or head to foreplay.com/ask. Again, all our information will be listed in the show notes below, and we thank you so much for listening to our podcast. See you in the next one. Bye!